Good evening, Bill Richardson. First of all, how do you rate this particular moment historically?
Well, this is the worst state of tension in the Korean Peninsula since the Korean War, with this ICBM capability that North Korea now has, with the Kim Jong-un acting in defiance, not just of the United States, but the international community, detaining Americans, Canadians there, basically thumbing his nose at the international community and trying to provoke Donald Trump and the G20 into basically saying, hey, you guys are meeting at the G20. I'm the main player in the world today. That's what Kim Jong-un is saying.
But if it is one of the most dangerous moments since the Korean War, is it also a moment of opportunity?
Well, I believe the only way we're going to get out of this North Korean drama is through diplomacy. But right now, the options of diplomacy, because of the Otto Warmbier case, there's no appetite for that diplomacy. The preemptive military strike, that right now I don't think is realistic. So in between, we should look at options of squeezing China to squeeze North Korea more. I don't think we've done enough. I think more cyber efforts, more sanctions at the UN, get the international community, the G20 countries, a new alliance. I think we have a little time.
Well, in fact,
Nikki
Haley, the American ambassador at the UN, has talked about the fact that America will propose sanctions. But of course, you have to have China on board. And I just wonder, you talk about pushing China harder, but what leverage does Donald Trump actually have on China at the moment?
Well, they're negative levers. Do we list them as a currency manipulator? Do we put some kind of trade sanctions on steel? Do we continue arms sales to Taiwan? And other efforts. You know, China wants to be preeminent in East Asia, buttress our relationship with South Korea, with Japan, commerce-wise, militarily. I think China has to realize that the turmoil in the peninsula is not in their interest, but they're unwilling to really risk anything by squeezing North Korea. So we have to put more levers on China, and we need to get our European friends to help us, because this affects the international community, the East Asian Peninsula.
I mean, this may be something, of course, as a Democrat that you would have a certain answer for, but isn't part of the real problem here the kind of instability that the kind of flip-flopping that Donald Trump undertakes? You know, the goading of China for not doing enough for North Korea, the idea that he could do it himself, the idea that they would never have an intercontinental ballistic missile, that Trump is playing with fire without essentially understanding what he's doing.
Well, look, the fire is caused by Kim Jong-un and the North Koreans. As a Democrat, I think Trump has been relatively restrained. You know, I don't like his tweeting. I don't like him saying he wants to meet Kim Jong-un and that would be an honor. I want him to have a coherent policy with his military advisors, with our allies, bring it up at the G20, maybe get Russia's help, try something new. But I think diplomacy is the only option. There is no sound military option. And I think Kim Jong-un wants to provoke the international community. We shouldn't let him get away with that. We should be united in our effort to squeeze him. And the key is China, and China has not stepped up.
Well, but I want to come on to the kind of the role that you have played in the past. And I would say that, you know, the G20 is going to be a very public thing. State-to-state diplomacy is not exactly been shown to working. Are there back channels that need to be activated very quickly and strongly?
Yeah, let's look at new back channels, private groups, perhaps the Vatican. Perhaps China can play a mediating role by saying to Kim Jong-un, you've got to sit down and talk to the South Koreans and the Americans. Let's give this new president of South Korea, who's ready to engage North Korea on humanitarian issues, maybe he can be a channel. But let's try something new, because the traditional China, U.S., South Korea in the past six-party talks, that's not working.
Are you optimistic?
Strategic patience is not working.
Just briefly, are you optimistic on a scale from 1 to 10?
Well, I'm at about a 3 right now, and it's dwindling. I'm worried. I'm really worried. But I think eventually the international community will develop a strategy, and hopefully Kim Jong-un will come to his senses. But I wouldn't count on it right away. I think he's going to stretch it out.
Bill Richardson, thanks very much indeed.